Have you ever found yourself thinking, why does this keep happening to me? You meet someone, it starts exciting. You tell yourself, this one feels different. And before long, you're staring at the same red flags you swore you'd never ignore again. Maybe they're emotionally unavailable. Maybe they blow hot and cold. Maybe they pull you in just enough to keep you around, but never enough to feel truly secure. And the worst part, you're starting to wonder if you're the problem. Let's stop right there. This isn't just bad luck. It's not the universe playing tricks on you. There's a pattern, and once you see it, you can break it. So let's talk about this. I keep attracting the wrong partners, and I'm not here to judge you. I've worked with thousands of people who've asked themselves the same thing. Smart, capable, kind people who keep ending up in relationships that drain them instead of fueling them. There's a very real reason this keeps happening, and once we uncover it together, things can start to change. Let me ask you a question. When someone gives you just enough attention to keep you interested, do you lean in harder or pull away? Be honest, because if you're like most people, especially those who are emotionally generous, your instinct is to lean in harder, to prove you're worthy, to fix the connection, to win them over. This is where it starts, the cycle of chasing approval instead of connection. And the truth is, most of us were never taught how to recognize real compatibility. We were taught how to earn affection, and when affection becomes something you chase, you start mistaking intensity for intimacy. Here's what that looks like. You meet someone and there's this spark. They're charismatic, they know how to make you feel like the only person in the room, but they also keep you guessing. They're unpredictable. They disappear for a day and then come back with a charming message that disarms you. You feel high when you're with them and anxious when you're not. Your brain interprets that roller coaster as passion. This is one of the biggest traps people fall into. We confuse chemistry with compatibility. Think about the last person you dated who wasn't good for you. What was it that drew you in? Was it the excitement, the mystery, the way they felt a little out of reach? Now ask yourself this, would you be just as interested if they had been open, consistent, and emotionally safe from the beginning? If your answer is no or you're unsure, that tells us a lot, because emotional unavailability can feel familiar, and familiar feels safe even when it's not. Here's a real example. One of my clients, let's call her Sarah, kept dating guys who were busy. They'd cancel plans last minute, ghost for a few days, then reappear with some smooth excuse. She'd tell herself, he's just got a lot going on, but the truth was she was addicted to the chase. Why? Because growing up, she had to work for attention. She learned early that love wasn't always freely given, so when someone made her work for it, it felt normal, even desirable. Now listen, this isn't about blaming your childhood, it's about understanding your emotional blueprint, because until you do, you'll keep choosing what's familiar instead of what's healthy. There's one shift you can make that will instantly change who you're drawn to, and it's not about lowering your standards, it's about raising them in the right direction, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But first, if this is resonating with you right now, just pause and recognize something. You're not broken. You're just stuck in a loop that you haven't fully seen until now. Now that you're seeing it, you've already taken the first step to changing it. Ready for the next step? Alright, let's go deeper. We talked about the emotional blueprint that keeps pulling you toward the wrong partners. Now let's flip the script. What does it look like to be attracted to the right person? Here's the truth most people don't talk about. When someone treats you well, shows up consistently, communicates clearly, and makes you feel safe, it might not feel electric at first. Why? Because your nervous system has been trained to respond to instability. Stability can feel boring, but boring is just your body adjusting to safety. I had a conversation recently with a guy who said she was perfect, kind, supportive, everything I said I wanted, but I didn't feel that spark. So I asked him, was the spark in your past relationships a sign of attraction or anxiety? He paused, and then he said, damn, it was anxiety. That moment of awareness changes everything, because when you stop chasing chaos, you open the door to something way better. Calm confidence? You might be missing out on the right person because you're stuck, waiting to feel something that only dysfunction used to trigger. Now let's get practical. How do you break the cycle? Step 1, get radically honest about your patterns. Who have you dated? What drew you in? Write it down. See the themes. Don't judge yourself. Observe. Step 2, shift your criteria for attraction. Start noticing how people make you feel, not just how they look or act in the beginning. Do they create peace or confusion? Do you feel safe to be yourself, or are you constantly editing your words to keep them interesting? Step 3, slow it down. If someone is blowing up your phone for 3 days straight and talking about the future, by day 4, pause. That intensity might feel exciting, but healthy people reveal themselves over time. Let them show you consistency before you invest emotionally. I want to give you a practical filter you can start using today. It's a simple question you can ask yourself on any date. How does my nervous system feel around this person? If you feel tense, on edge, unsure, pay attention. If you feel calm, curious, and respected, that's a green flag. The people you're truly meant to be with don't confuse you. They don't create more questions than answers. So how do you train yourself to want what's good for you? You start by reinforcing a new standard. When someone is kind to you, consistent, and emotionally available, remind yourself this is attractive, because your mind might be slow to adapt, but it learns by repetition. And if you want to deeper connection, you have to make space for it. That means saying no to anyone who only shows up halfway. Real intimacy doesn't begin with proving yourself. It begins with being yourself and watching who respects that. I had a guy in one of my workshops say, "I've spent so much time trying to be impressive on dates, but I never stopped to ask if they were impressive to me." That mindset shift right there, that's power. You stop auditioning and start evaluating. You stop chasing and start choosing. Let me ask you something. What would your love life look like if you fully believed that being deeply loved doesn't require being perfect? If you showed up fully as yourself and trusted that the right person would want that? Because when you start dating from that place, everything changes. If you're ready for that, we're not done yet. Let's bring this home. If you've made it this far, that tells me something about you. You're not interested in playing games. You're ready for something real, and that makes you rare. So now that you've started to recognize the patterns and you've begun shifting your perspective, what's next? You start creating a new story for yourself. And I mean that literally, because the stories you've been telling yourself, "I always attract the wrong people. Good ones never want me. Maybe I'm just not meant for love." Those aren't facts. They're old scripts written by fear, pain, and past experiences. It's time to rewrite them. Try this one instead. "I'm becoming the kind of person who chooses love that feels healthy, mutual, and peaceful." Say it out loud right now. You don't have to believe it fully yet. Just start planting the seed. Next, audit your environment. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are your closest friends modeling healthy relationships, or are they stuck in the same cycle you're trying to break? Because the environment matters. It's hard to break patterns when you're surrounded by people who normalize dysfunction. Start looking for new inputs, books, podcasts, conversations, coaches, anything that helps your mind learn what healthy looks and feels like. You need examples of relationships where both people show up fully, communicate openly, and genuinely respect one another. Now here's a powerful but uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the biggest reason we attract the wrong partners is because deep down we're not showing up as the person we want to be with. Let that land. If you want honesty, are you being fully honest in relationships? If you want consistency, are you showing up with clarity and intention? If you want someone emotionally available, are you willing to be vulnerable and open with someone who has earned it? Attraction isn't just chemistry, it's alignment. So here's your next action step. Start being deliberate with who you let into your life. That means setting boundaries early. It means saying no without guilt. It means being clear about what you're looking for and not apologizing for it. You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or body just because there's a spark. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace. Here's a real-world scenario. Let's say someone new starts texting you. They're funny, charming, and flirtatious, but they only reach out late at night. Old you might have played along thinking it's just casual for now. But the new you pause. You ask yourself, is this behavior aligned with the kind of relationship I want? And then this is key. You act accordingly. You either communicate clearly or step away, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. When you do that consistently, something shifts. You start attracting people who respect you because you respect you. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you believe you're worthy of, and you get to change that belief starting now. Before we wrap, let me leave you with this. If this video made you feel seen, understood, or even just a little more hopeful, don't keep that to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Comment below with the one part that hit you the hardest. I read these, and if you haven't already, subscribe, because this isn't a one-time pep talk. This is a journey, and I'm here for the long game with you. Remember, you're not hard to love. You've just been giving your love to people who weren't ready for it. Let's change that. I'll see you in the next video.